Hi guys, welcome to Wrestling Retrospective. In this video, I'll be doing my review of AEW x New Japan Pro Wrestling Forbidden Door. So first up on the 0 hour, we had Athena defeating Billie Starkz to go further ahead into the Owen Hart Women's Tournament. I thought this was the best match on the pre-show, or the 0 hour, I can't know what we'll call it, pre-show. But yeah, it was very brutal. Well, brutal hits throughout, especially from Athena, but that's kind of her style at the minute, which I really do enjoy when I do watch her matches. You know, the violence and hard-hitting nature of it is something I'm a fan of. As for Billie Starkz, I don't really know much about Billie Starkz. I think she was the woman who came out as like Canada's best just before Taya Valkyrie debuted against Jade Cargill, but I don't know much about her. I feel like she's going to stay at the level that she is at the minute. But yeah, I'm hoping and I expect that Athena will go quite far in the tournament this year. I know that she's Ring of Honor World Women's Champion, but I feel like it'd be a good way to elevate her through the AEW Women's Division. I feel like once she drops the Ring of Honor Women's World title, that coming back to more AEW stuff than Ring of Honor would be really good. I'd love to see her more on Dynamite or Collision. And yeah, I'm hoping that she has a decent title run with one of the AEW belts, whether it be TBS or the Women's World title over there. But yeah, I definitely do prefer like Athena to Ember Moon from WWE and NXT. But yeah, for me, I didn't have any doubts that Athena was going to get the win here. And yeah, I said, alright match. Probably the best match on the pre-show, and I look forward to seeing how far Athena goes in the Owen Hart Women's Tournament. So first up on the main card, we had MJF defeating Tanahashi to retain the AEW World Championship. I thought this was a decent match. It went along a lot quicker than I thought it would. I'm not sure what it clocked in at time-wise, but yeah, it seemed to go very quickly, but I did enjoy it. I think MJF shows once again how he's probably one of the best wrestlers and by far the best heel in the wrestling industry at the minute. I think having a big win over Tanahashi, one of New Japan's best, is really good for him, especially for his title reign as well. And you know, he's not just beating nobodies like some title runs have been, like world title runs have been that I've seen in the past through mostly WWE. I'm not gonna lie, but you know, it seems like he's fearing opponents, but then he's defeating them on pay-per-view, which is really good. It's something I'm very much enjoying. I like the fact that he cheated to beat Tanahashi as well. So it's kind of like the honor of, and I always see like New Japan as kind of an honourable wrestling company that do provide, like, I don't know how to put it, it's not like Ring of Honor style, but like they do a lot of respect a lot between opponents. So for MJF to defeat one of New Japan's best by cheating, I think it's the best way to go, and it adds to his character. But yeah, I think the match itself was really good for what it was. I expected it to go a little bit longer than it did, but it didn't majorly affect my opinion of the match. I thought it was good, I enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to seeing what MJF has next, as he's in the blind eliminator tournament for the tag titles, so I'm wondering whether him and Adam Cole might go far there and then not get the win. I think it'd be a very WWE decision to have MJF and Adam Cole win the tag titles. But I think they'll get a case of like getting to the finals maybe, and then MJF will turn on Adam Cole just as Cole comes around to trusting him maybe, and then cost him the tag titles, and then this will lead to a feud maybe at All In or maybe at All Out. I know that they're within a week of each other, so I'm not sure. But yeah, I'm looking forward to see what MJF does next. Following that, in the quarterfinal of the men's Owen Hart tournament, we had CM Punk defeat Kojima. I thought this was another decent match. I don't know, yeah, I felt like it was only okay. You know, it kind of went exactly how I thought it would be. Kojima would get some decent flicks in, but Punk controlled for the most part and got the win. I expect Punk to win the whole tournament, even though I don't know, my opinion of Punk has definitely changed, especially since All Out last year, like probably a lot of people, but I'm not going to go into that now. The crowd booed him out of the building. You know, you could tell through watching the pay-per-view, but then there was also fan recorded videos that showed how much he was getting booed. That doesn't surprise me at all. If anything, I feel he deserves it after the absolute clusterfuck that has been these last few months with Punk, and especially his comments on AEW as a whole. For me, I wouldn't have had him come back. I would have just gotten rid of him, but that's my opinion. But yeah, I said I can see him winning the whole tournament. He stands out as like the biggest name in the tournament. But in my opinion, the two Owen Hart tournaments aren't as big name filled as they were last year. I kind of saw the brackets and I was a bit like, meh. So yeah, I can essentially Punk winning the tournament 100%. I'll be shocked if he doesn't. But yeah, other than that, the match itself was alright. Nothing special would happen. There was never any kind of doubt that Punk was winning this match, which was a shame because Kojima is a really good wrestler from what I've seen and from what I've heard about him as well. His match with Moxley at All Out 2 years ago was a lot better than this one. I was expecting a lot more of a competitive match, which I didn't really feel like it was. But yeah, it was kind of disappointing and expectation wise, but looking back and feeling like Punk's going to definitely get the winning through this tournament, it was kind of to be expected, which is, again, it's disappointing, but it is what it is. And yeah, so CM Punk gets the win here. So following that, we had Orange Cassidy successfully defend the AEW International Championship against Zack Sabre Jr., Daniel Garcia and Shibata. I thought this was the first real high quality match of the night. I enjoyed it throughout, non-stop action. I didn't like the parts where they were continuously copying each other's moves, the four of them. That went on for a fair bit, but once that was done with and it was kind of getting into the real high action of stuff, I started to really enjoy this one. Yeah, I thought, for me, like Daniel Garcia really stood out for me in this one, as well as Zack Sabre Jr. I don't know, I think like a lot of people, Daniel Garcia should definitely start looking towards leaving the Jericho Appreciation Society, but I know they're also doing a storyline where Sammy Guevara's leaving as well, and I think like this heel character definitely works best with Daniel Garcia as well, especially that stupid dance he does. So I understand why they want to keep him there, but for me, I think I'd just split up the Jericho Appreciation Society. I feel like Hager 2.0 and Jericho fit really well into it, but Guevara and Garcia don't. I feel like they could definitely be doing more as singles competitors on their own, doing their own thing. But that's my opinion. I feel like we're definitely going to get there with Sammy Guevara. But I'll talk about it more during his match. But yeah, I think for me, I feel like I need to watch more Zack Sabre Jr. matches because he's really good. Every time I've seen him when he had his match with Castagnoli, last year's window, this match here, and the matches he's had dotted around AEW as well, and some in Ring of Honor. Yeah, he just impresses me more and more, and like my opinion of him gets higher and higher. From not knowing him at all to now, where I know like how good he is. I'm hoping he's going to be all in the UK as he is British, and I love like how like he doesn't, I don't say shade away from it like some people, but like he proper goes into the British style of like promos and stuff like that, which I really enjoy. But yeah, I think Cassidy's had a really great run. I was surprised the way he won this one, with him kind of stealing the win at the end. With Shibata, I think he hit his finish, but then Cassidy threw him out the ring to get the successful retain. That surprised me, but I suppose when he comes out to the ring, they do say how like he's got a bad back, he's got a bad hand. All the wrestling he's doing every week is having a major effect on him, which I understand. And I don't know, it's like Orange Cassidy's such a babyface that I'm surprised they'd have him steal a win because it feels like such a heel move at this point. But it just shows desperation for him to want to continue to be champion. And yeah, I think I'd say Orange Cassidy is probably by far one of the best wrestlers on the roster at the minute, just through how many matches he's having every week, his win rate, and the championship reign he's having. So yeah, I'm very much enjoying it, and I'm looking forward to see where he goes next. Following that, we had Sonata successfully defend the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship against Jungle Boy. I thought this was a decent match. I expected a lot more from the IWGP World Champion, especially the match for the championship as well. It didn't go quite as long as I thought. It was quite, when I watched it and then I rewatched it again, it did go quite quickly, but it was very action-packed full throughout. I feel like Jungle Boy's definitely proven himself to be very good in championship matches here and at Double or Nothing. Which is great, and I'm glad that more of the four pillars is starting to come into the main event scene, apart from MJF obviously in that position at the minute. Yeah, they did a Paradise Lock, which I'd actually never seen before, and man, that looks uncomfortable. Like they said, like how you're literally stuck in that position, because if you try and move your arms, your legs tighten up. If you try and move your legs, your arms tighten up, so you're kind of stuck in a position until you're kind of forced out of it by your opponent. I've never seen that before, and I don't know, it impressed me a lot. I kind of like was like really impressed with it. I was really happy. I don't know, it kind of shocked me and impressed me at the same time. The two Hurricane Ranas that happened, Sonada's on Jungle Boy was brutal looking. Jungle Boy like he landed straight on his head, whereas when Jungle Boy did it to Sonada, he kind of landed at an angle. But man, the Poison Rana is one of my favourite moves because of how brutal it looks. But yeah, I think, and Taz pointed this out on commentary as well, that Sonada like completely downplayed Jungle Boy verbally before the matches, saying how he was underestimating, pretty much saying how he was underestimating him and stuff like that. But when you put out an open challenge, you can't then bitch and moan about who answers an open challenge. If he wanted a better opponent, he should have just challenged somebody, I guess. But yeah, that didn't make much sense to me. And then obviously at the end of the match, after Sonada had successfully retained the title, Jungle Boy turned heel by taking out Hook. And obviously, because I'm recording this on Thursday, Dynamite was last night. The heel promo that Jungle Boy kind of did, it felt very generic. Like it felt like a "you people" promo, which I'm very bored of. You know, it seems like I said, very generic way of doing it. You know, saying how he's banging the hottest woman and all that other stuff. It was just like, this is really generic. And then he ran away from Jungle Boy even though he wanted to face him and stuff like that. It felt very cliche for a heel. And I'm not sure if I see Jungle Boy as a really, really bad heel. Like, not bad as in like terrible, but bad as in like badass, I guess. But yeah, I don't see it. He just has the face of a baby face and stuff like that. So I don't know how serious I'm going to take him as a heel, especially as like he just had Luchasaurus turn on him and Christian turn on him, and he's trying to do similar promos to Christian, like how he insulted Taz and stuff like that. So I don't feel like it's got much legs unless he does something really shocking, which I can't see happen when like he'll just be compared to MJF or Christian Cage. But I don't know. I'm wanting to be proven wrong, but I don't believe in Jungle Boy as a heel, just based on the first promo that he did. But I'm open to having my mind changed. But as I for this match, I thought it was decent. I expected more, but I still thought it was alright. It didn't take anything away from my expectations. Didn't take anything away from the match. But yeah, Sonada retains the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. So following that, we had the Elite with Tomohiro Ishii and Eddie Kingston defeat the Blackpool Combat Club, Umino and Takeshita. I really enjoyed this one. It was kind of one of the better matches on the card for me. I'm glad they didn't concentrate too much on who the legal man was and tagging in and out. I know they did for the first part, but that was to be expected. But and then once it all broke down a bit, they didn't concentrate too much on it and they just let the match flow, which I very much enjoyed. I feel like it really flew by time-wise. I haven't looked properly at the times, but I feel like it went longer than it felt, which was good. It meant it was fully action-packed. I thought it was interesting that Kingston took the double super kick instead of Moxley. Kind of made the save for him. But then on Dynamite last night, it seemed like Moxley and Kingston were kind of against each other. I didn't understand why they did that spot in the match if they weren't going to have Kingston be so conflicted on Dynamite. But yeah, other than that, I thought that the MVP for this match was definitely Takeshita. The brutal forearm to Ishii during the match, I thought it was like one of the most hard-hitting parts of the whole pay-per-view. I fully couldn't believe it when everything I proper popped for it. It was great. And yeah, I'm looking forward to see where I honestly thought that the Combat Club and Takeshita and Umino were going to get this win to carry on the elevation of Takeshita. But even in the loss, Takeshita seemed like way higher than he was before the match, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing him progress even more to get to a point of facing Kenny Omega, because I feel like he's still fairly low on the card to be facing Omega, but he's definitely making that progression very quickly. But yeah, I thought it was a great match overall. I'm interested to see whether Eddie Kingston continues. Well, no, I wrote in my notes here, I was interested to see where Eddie Kingston goes next, but it seems like he's going to be in the Blood and Guts match, or at least I assume that'll be the case, with Yuta and Castagnoli taking out and injuring his arm, or seemingly injuring his arm, during Dynamite last night. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing them do Blood and Guts. And yeah, I said the match itself was probably I probably would have said it's my third or second favourite match on the card. Very much enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to seeing these guys enter Blood and Guts. So following that, we had Toni Storm with the Outcasts successfully defend the AEW Women's World Championship against Willow Nightingale. I thought this was a really good match. It was definitely better than I thought it was going to be. I like that Toni won the match on her own. The Outcasts got kind of ejected from ringside, and she kind of did it on her own without cheating, which I thought was really good. This is words. Hello? Right, this is definitely my favourite Willow Nightingale match to this point. I wasn't majorly invested in Willow Nightingale. I wasn't very much for the overly positive gimmick. I didn't like it when Bayley did it in WWE, I wasn't a fan of it here. But she seems to be like a bit more serious now that she's New Japan Strong Women's Champion. And yeah, just more recently, she seems to be though her entrance is very fun, positive, she seems to be more serious in ring, which I very much enjoy. And yeah, I'd probably say it was one of the better matches on the card. I know that a lot of people probably disagree with that. And yeah, again, like I said in the predictions, it did feel very thrown together, but I think it over-delivered for what it was, which is really good and a very positive thing. I prefer things when they under-deliver, under-hyped and over-deliver. I always get those ones mixed up. But yes, either way, yeah, very good match. Very much enjoyed it, and Toni Storm continues to be Women's World Champion. So following that, we had Will Ospreay winning the IWGP United States Championship from Kenny Omega in what was by far match of the night. I cannot express enough how good this match was. It was 40 minutes of just high quality wrestling. I'd probably say it's the best match I've watched live. I wasn't there, but you know when you're watching it live on pay-per-view, it's the best match I've watched live by a country mile. And I watched I didn't watch New Japan live. Wrestle Kingdom. I didn't watch that live. I watched it the day after. But man, this was incredible. It was just fantastic throughout. You know, it had everything I kind of want in a wrestling match, which is great technical wrestling, bit of blood. Well, Kenny had a bit of blood. Ospreay fucking was busted wide open. But yeah, I love that part of the match. Just the really close kickouts. Just Kenny kicking out at one from a one-winged angel from Will Ospreay was just, I couldn't believe it when that happened. I think I was stood up the whole match. I was sat down for the majority of the pay-per-view, and for this match I was stood up because it was just so good. I would argue that Will Ospreay is probably the best wrestler in the world right now. Like, all the matches I've seen of his have been awesome. Like his match with Orange Cassidy at last year's Forbidden Door, Wrestle Kingdom, this one, a 6-man tag United Empire with Death Triangle. Just to name a few off the top of my head, he's had in AEW. But I know that some people probably say it's Brian after the pay-per-view, but we'll get onto that later. But I genuinely hope they do a rubber match, because obviously both of them have got one win each over each other at All In at Wembley in just over a month, I think it is. Oh no, sorry, it's like 2 months already, sorry. I hope that that's the case, because I'm not going to lie to you, I'm willing to go to Wembley, or at least attempt to, just for that match alone. It would be so good. And yeah, it was just, as I said, fantastic. I can't express enough how good this match was. I would probably put it as match of the year already. It was just so good. I don't know what would top it other than a rematch. Because it was incredible. Honestly, if you haven't watched it, go and try and watch it, because I've been suggesting to everyone that I know who likes wrestling, or even just casual fans, to watch this match because it is so good. But yeah, if you haven't, please go watch it, because it might just make wrestling fans, or make casual fans full-on fans. It was so good. But yeah, as I said, Will Ospreay is the new IWGP United States Champion. I think it's the result was the best one, for my opinion. And yeah, I look forward to seeing Ospreay again in AEW whenever that'll be. And I hope he'll be at All In to face Kenny Omega again. Genuinely hope that's the case. Following that being the unfortunate match to follow Ospreay and Omega was Darby Allin, Sting and Naito versus Jericho, Suzuki and Guevara. I was very surprised that this match was positioned where it was. I would have had maybe a lesser match go on between Ospreay and Omega and Danielson and Okada. But this one was fun, it was decent, I enjoyed it for the most part. It was better than I thought it was going to be. There was a scary Sting spot where like you could see that hurt his head, and it did affect him for the rest of the match. He didn't seem as fast or mobile after taking that. But yeah, the match they had last night on Dynamite was pretty freaking good. It was definitely better than this match in my opinion. And Sting flying off the ladder and then taking out Guevara was insane, especially for Sting's age, which is a common thing to say about Sting nowadays. But yeah, I'd say the match itself was really good. It was the first Naito match I've seen, or at least sat and watched fully, and he seems pretty good. I know he's pretty good from what I've heard and little highlights I've seen here and there. So it was good to see him, as he wasn't on Forbidden Door last year, as far as I can remember. But yeah, it was a decent and fun match to have between the two main events. And yeah, I'm not sure where Sting and Darby go after this. I don't know whether Sting continues to feud with Jericho, maybe they have a one-on-one match. As for Guevara, I expected him to turn face during the Tornado Tag match, but he didn't. So I'm not sure where the face turn is going to come from, or whether he does at all, whether they're just kind of teasing it and then won't do it. But I think Sammy Guevara turning face is probably what's best right now for Guevara's character. But yeah, I'm curious to see what happens next with each team, and yeah, as I said, really fun match down between the main events. And finally, in the main event, Bryan Danielson defeated Okada. I thought another high quality wrestling match. I think it went nearly half an hour, and it flew by completely. I couldn't believe it was over. I honestly thought it was like a 20-minute match because it was over before I knew it. But man, it was really good. I think I prefer the Kenny Omega and Ospreay match just because it had the blood element, the kind of more emotional stakes to it. Whereas this one was like pure technical wrestling. And I know some people will prefer that otherwise to the Omega match, which is totally fair. They were both very, very good matches, and that was kind of to be expected. We all knew that going in. But yeah, I said really good match. I think I've only ever seen one other Okada match, which was his at last year's Forbidden Door, the 4-way he had with Jay White, Adam Cole, Okada, and Hangman Page. But I could tell just by the fans' reaction that Okada tapping out to Bryan was a huge deal. And when the commentator said it was like the second time in his career he's ever tapped out, I was like, gee, holy shit, that's huge. Yeah, it was a shame that Daniel got injured during the match and that he's broken his forearm, or at least he's broken his arm either way, which is a shame, especially after coming off that match as well. We didn't see him on Dynamite, which is a shame, especially with the Blackpool Combat Club coming in, and he's going to miss Blood and Guts as well. Which is annoying, but apparently he might be back for All In, or there's a good chance he'll be back for All In, which is very good. I'm very happy with that. I would actually hope that Bryan's going to face Zack Sabre Jr. at All In, because we were supposed to get that at last year's Forbidden Door, and then we didn't because Bryan was injured. And I think that would be a really good match for All In, and the British fans would eat that up. But yeah, I think like the question afterwards was like, is Bryan the best wrestler in the world? I wouldn't say so, but I'm willing to have my mind changed, and I know that people would argue with it, and I think that's fair. I said for me, the best wrestler in the world right now is Will Ospreay. Yeah, just based on like every match I see of his is incredible, whereas Bryan's on, and they are very, very good, but aren't like on the scale of Will Ospreay's right now. In my opinion, I'm allowed to have my opinion. But yeah, I said I definitely am preferring Bryan Danielson to Daniel Bryan, even though I know that for me it's like there's more character to Bryan Danielson. But yeah, this match was very, very good. Not as good as Ospreay and Omega, but that didn't take away from it. I thought it was very good. It was an incredible match. Technically, it was fantastic. Very much enjoyed it. And yeah, I think Daniel getting the win for the tap out, looking fantastic result. So those were my thoughts and opinions on AEW X New Japan Forbidden Door 2023. Obviously, we didn't get the Adam Cole Tom Lawler match. So out of 10 matches that I predicted on my prediction video, I got 8 right, which I'd say was pretty damn good. So overall, as you can see in the corner, I am 22 out of 27 out of AEW pay-per-views this year, which is, that's pretty good. It's better than my WWE record. But yeah, do comment down below what your favourite match of night was. Imagine you see that Omega and Ospreay or Okada and Danielson. But it might be different. But yeah, do put why you enjoyed that match and anything like that. And also put in the comments what matches you think are going to be at All In, and whether I should go to All In. And if I did go, would you want like a vlog type thing, or just some pictures and highlight stuff like that? But yeah, Forbidden Door was a really good pay-per-view, very much enjoyed it. For me, it was better than last year's Forbidden Door, though I know a lot of people hold that one very highly in their opinions, which is fair enough. I did enjoy that one as well. But yeah, I will ask you to do the usual stuff: like, subscribe, notifications, comment anything you want about the video, any feedback, any stuff like that. In the next few days, probably on, to be fair, it'll probably be tomorrow. To be fair, I'll be doing my predictions for Money in the Bank, which is on Saturday. But until that video, I thank you, and I'll see you guys later on.